Welcome back to part 3 of our interview with Rob Kessler, where he tells us why you can't be everything to everyone, in addition to his secret to turning an idea into a business. Don't go anywhere. Part 3 is just around the corner.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. Now, I want to dig in a little bit about kind of your background, your psyche, how you think, because, again, you took an idea and you brought it to market and are kicking ass. A lot of people...
Sure trying.
No, look, I can see it by the sales.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people have great ideas, tons of ideas, and they don't execute. They don't do it. What do you rely on? What makes you special that you were actually able to get it done? You were executable, or you were able to execute on it, I should say.
I've had other ideas that I haven't executed, and I look back and I'm like, God, I wish I would have done that. The simplest, earliest one, I was probably 17 years old. I was working in a little soccer and volleyball store, and we had access to screen printers, and like all these guys would come in and sell their kitschy like soccer mom t-shirts and stuff. But this was right about the time that President Clinton was having a extracurricular relationship. And it was also the time of the What Would Jesus Do movement. So I was like, we need What Would Clinton Do shirts. And it was so simple, like a couple $100 I could have launched this company, and I'm 17 years old. What do I know? How am I going to do it? So I had that idea, and I had a couple other little ideas that I've tinkered with over the time. So I kind of built up the confidence, and then my previous company was a screen printing and embroidery company with a clothing line on the side. So I had a little bit of that clothing background to give me the confidence to go forward, but creating a new product in a new category is challenging in so many ways. I mean, there's no roadmap to follow when you have a product that's never been done before. And you can find some similarities, but I have probably one of the only products on the planet where you have to buy one place and then go somewhere else to get it installed just to use it. And so while we tried to overcome that from the beginning, it just wasn't possible. And what's even more crazy of the sales that we have is that you have to go through that absolute pain in the ass to get my product installed. And we still sold 130,000 sets in 2 years. So I'm just one of those guys that when I get my mind on something, I just won't stop. I mean, I'm just absolutely dedicated, and no matter how frustrated I'll get, I may walk away, but I'll just never let it go.
What's the biggest hurdle you needed to overcome in the process of setting up this company?
The messaging, getting the message across of what it is. The biggest challenge is nobody knows what a placket is unless you're in the apparel business. And so that's why the name of the company is $1 Million Collar and not like Perfect Placket. Because if it's Perfect Placket, now you have to explain what a placket is and what the solution is. Going the other way, $1 Million Collar has this really nice ring to it. And then I can explain, well, we're a collar support system and we help keep it up, and that's why it crumbles, and that's why da-da-da. So it's been just from the beginning, the product and the category has been just a challenge because nobody knows what the problem is. Once I point it out to them and says, you know how your shirt crumbles and folds and looks like crap when you wear it without a tie? Yeah, I hate that. But nobody's really that conscious of the problem. They just tug at their collar and think, oh, I'll iron it, or I'll starch it, or I'll do something else, or I'll get magnetic collar stays and that'll hold it up. But every other solution that was out there was based on a collar thing. Nothing actually fixed the problem, which is the placket. And it seemed obvious to me, so that's where I went.
I'm sensing another joint venture with Pfizer and Viagra.
I have had a lot of people say it's like Viagra for your shirt. And if you do a little digging, you can find a very hot picture of my wife with a kind of a morning after, finally something that'll stay up all night shirt. So
that is great. And what I love about that idea, it's those kind of things that go viral. Those kind of out of the box kind of thinking that grabs people's attention. And it's so many entrepreneurs are unwilling to play on the outside edges because it's like, I'm a professional. I don't want to ruin my brand.
Yeah, when you're starting out, you don't have a brand, so you may as well try every different possible thing there is. And we're getting close to – we're going to be shooting some videos that are along those lines. I've had it with my previous company. My previous company was called Nude Clothing, and it was spelled NEWD. It stood for Nothing Else Will Do. And I had high-end, top-of-the-line shirts and dresses in my clothing line, and then my screen printing business that really grew. That was just my mantra, was built right into my name. Nothing else will do. I always put forward a better product than people were expecting. So even with that, Nude Clothing, I mean, that's like a marketer's dream to have a name, Nude Clothing, to be able to go and, do all kinds of crazy. You can go from as sexual as you want to as, straight up and boring as you want, I guess, if you want to call it that.
I see a whole series of YouTube videos.
Yeah, well, we're you should be seeing some stuff coming soon.
Interesting. I had a gentleman call me, I guess about a month ago, and his name was, I forget his first name, it was Jimmy Knight, like a knight in shining armor. And his security company, he had a security company that protected buildings, residences. He did consulting and then the hardwiring of the alarms and everything. And he goes, I'm having a really tough time getting business. I said, what's your dress code when you go out to, do prospect calls? He goes, I wear, khakis and a polo shirt. And he's ex-military. I'm like, dude, I don't want a guy in khakis and a polo shirt protecting me. I said, get a suit of armor. Start going into businesses with a suit of armor. I guarantee you're going to get a meeting. I mean, if somebody walks into my building and has a suit of armor on, I'm meeting with the guy. I want to know what he's doing.
I'm paying attention.
I'm paying attention. It's like, he's like, do you think that will really work? I said, look, you'll be careful that you don't have the hood down. You'll scare some people. But, yeah, you'll get attention. I said, if not, or dress more military. I don't want to be in a foxhole with some dude in, khakis.
What do you got to lose? Try it 5 times. I mean, try it 10 times. I mean, so if you didn't have them anyways, it's just 5 clients you didn't have anyways.
Yeah. I interviewed the guy that owns the Savannah Bananas. It's a semi-pro baseball team. You got to look it up. The guy's hilarious. He wears a yellow tuxedo every single day. Every day. He wears a yellow tuxedo. He took that team from losing money to killing it.
Yeah, he's committed. You have to. I mean,
he's
got to be all the way through. Why not?
Yeah.
Look at the guys who have blown up. It's never the guys that are down the middle of the road. I mean, look at Dollar Shave Club. Look at any of those companies that really blow up. It's because they went so far off of what the norm is, and it's scary as a business owner to put that kind of risk out. But more often than not, I think if it's done right and it's genuine, then it works. It helps set you apart, and it'll get you to your target market, especially when you're just starting. You think, I got to sell to everybody. I got to advertise to everybody. No, you got to find those people that are willing to take a chance on you, and those take a very specific message to get through to that customer.
It does. And find the customers that aren't a good fit and weed them out.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be everything to everybody, no matter what. I mean, we put Facebook ads out and Instagram, and there's always people, this is so stupid. Haven't you ever heard of an iron? I starch my shirts, get a collar stay. It's like, okay, you're uneducated and you're just sounding like a jackass because you're commenting on an ad. This isn't a conversation. It's an ad, dude. You didn't take time out, but he's paying attention enough to me that he's took time out of his day to comment on my ad. So yes. I'll take that as a win.
Absolutely. If you had the chance to reset the clock and go back and start the business over from that moment on the beach where you're like, man, I just don't like this, what would you done a little bit differently that may have accelerated the process or eliminated some pain in the process?
I would have hired some more of the right people at the right time. I think we got a little caught up in getting the product right. And I wish I would have hired a marketing firm to just help with some of the content, like just getting the message across. there was just a couple little outsiders that I would have liked to have spent the money on. I mean, the YouTube guys turned out to be great. We hired 2 PR firms that turned out to be absolutely horrendous. We've actually hired a lot of outside people that at the same time have tried to plug and play our product with everything else that they've done that's made them successful and have failed utterly miserably. So if the one thing I would definitely do is have performance-based pay for any outside contractor.
Amen, brother.
You cannot afford to have, I mean, we've probably blown close to $40,000 in outside contractors that couldn't deliver on what they said they could. And there's just no recourse. You can't recourse on a PR firm really when, we tried.
Right.
Trying doesn't help me.
Yeah. Trying doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah. What pays your bills?
Yeah, that's right.
Mine.
That's right. Yeah, and I love some of their pitches too. You look at their website. It's like, all right, what are you going to do? And then they say what they're going to do, and I'm like, I'm still confused. What actually is that? What keeps you up at night?
Just trying to figure out the next step. I always think 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. So it drives my wife crazy a lot of times, and my parents and my partner even, because I'm thinking about how do I manage 100,000 units a month? How do I manage 100,000 units a week? And, we're at 130 in 2 years. So I'm like crazy far ahead, but that's kind of where my brain goes. And so I lay there and try to put a plan together on how to make things work. I think about all the people that I want to talk to tomorrow. I think about the conversations I had today, and we usually watch Friends before we go to bed, so that usually puts me out. I need something in the background to distract, or I'll lay there until 3 a.m. And so if I have the TV on, I can fall asleep to some noise. That helps. Otherwise, it's not happening.
I want the people listening to go back, rewind about 45 seconds, and listen to what he just told you. It's about working in the present, but it's about understanding what's coming in the future. Even though you don't know what the future is going to look like, you've got to spend some time planning on what's to come. One, it sets a great intention for you, but what it also does is it makes the actions that you take today in alignment with tomorrow's needs. And what happens so many times is you see business owners end up at a destination where they never intended to go because they didn't have foresight to look up, get out of the weeds, work on their business, and figure out, okay, where is this business going to be in 5 years? And the decisions that I'm making today, is it bringing me closer to that end goal?
100%. I mean, if you haven't read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it's definitely one to read. And one of the biggest things he says in there is begin with the end in mind. I mean, if you're going to start a company and put your heart and soul into it, you have to have some kind of end. Are you going to work this until you retire? Are you going to build it up and sell it? You have to have an end point that you can direct yourself to, because if you don't, then any direction will take you somewhere. And you just have to kind of pay attention to those things. And I mean, we've pivoted probably 4 times in our company, 3 times before we even launched the product. So it may not be the way you think it's going to go, but man, you have to, like you said, you got to have some kind of goal, something to look forward to.
Yeah. Constantly pivoting.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah. And one of the things we talk about a lot here is in order to pivot intelligently, you've got to track, measure. So I love what you're doing with your individual codes. You know where the business is coming from. You can find out what the successful avenues are. Those that aren't, move away from those. And things change. Look, we're going to wake up in 6 months, hopefully, God willing, and we're going to see a different world when it comes to marketing. Things are going to change. Who knows where Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn are going to be at that point? What's going to be new? I don't know. But I guarantee one thing, things will change.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Got to stay up. Well, man, I really appreciate having you on today. Tell the audience how they can get a hold of you. I know you've got a listener promotion for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So first things first, the website is milliondollarcollar.com. That's the easiest thing to find, and we're on all the social medias if you look up $1 Million Collar. Personally, I'm the no-tie guy, so if you are anti-tie, and I love that we've had this conversation, and Hasn't been screaming and yelling. I'm the No Tie Guy on Instagram and Twitter, and we're just starting to build that up. So having conversations about that. But yeah, discount code is PPP, Peak Performance Podcast, and then the number 15. That'll get you 15% off an order. So if you want to come check out $1 Million Collar, you can do that.
Man, I really appreciate having you on, and I am definitely going to order some. So you got a new customer today. It has worked. It has worked. So I really appreciate it. Thanks. Have a great day, and we'd love to have you back on when you break 1 billion units out there.
Yes, sir.
It's coming.
I love that. It's coming.
All right. Have a great day, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.